Hello, you are welcome back to Emijeri Talk Politics. This is where we bring to you real political updates and breaking news. Well, Rufai Oseni have come out to blast Festus Keyamo, Aviation Minister, over the comment he made about Peter Obi, and even went further as releasing CCTV footage of the incidents with Peter Obi and the airport authorities, which after Peter Obi reviewed how he was harassed, persecuted over what they called wrong parking, which after the CCTV footage, you can see clearly what happened in the video. Well, on Arise TV morning show, Rufai Oseni have come out to blast Festus Keyamo, where he said a lot of things, which I would like you to watch from the video. And after watching the video, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Drop your opinion. What do you think about the whole incident?
Yeah, all weekend, Peter Obi's explosive interview in which he alleged government persecution over airport parking rules sparked a fierce response from the Minister of Aviation, Festus Keyamo, who in a lengthy post on X fired back, ordering Peter Obi to publicly apologize to airport staff and pay a 25,000 naira fine for what he described as wrongful parking at Abuja Airport or face fan action. Within 1 week, Keyamo attached CCTV footage to the post, stating that on July 4th, Peter Obi's police driver parked his vehicle unattended in a prohibited drop-off zone for approximately 30 minutes. Keyamo said the CCTV footage confirms that nobody was in the vehicle when it was clamped, meaning security staff had no idea whose car it was. He added that Peter Obi then called the airport manager personally, introduced himself, and used his influence to get the vehicle released without paying the fine. Keyamo described Peter Obi's subsequent claims of persecution as a false narrative designed to score cheap political points. Well, this generated fierce debate online, with many asking whether a sitting minister should personally intervene in a routine parking fine or leave it to airport authorities. And I'll read some reactions online. This is from Solution, not Soludo. Solution, who wrote...
Soludo is Mr. Solution.
Yes, so he's Soludo Solution, you're correct. Yes. Well, this is not Soludo. He wrote, this video doesn't even prove anything. If for anything, the video proves Peter Obi right. First, according to the narrator, if you leave the car behind, it will be locked. However, the driver was hovering around the car, but immediately he went the other way. Those guys came and locked the car. That's a clear sign of targeted monitoring and waiting for the driver to step out so the car can be locked. Second, there are other cars parked in front of the car, but the video doesn't show that those other cars were locked too. Also, what's the difference between parking the car and remaining inside the car, and parking the car and leaving the car behind for a moment? All these don't prove anything but further support Peter Obi's claim of targeted bullying. For me, that's what I saw with the CCTV footage. I did see that, you know, the driver was going in and out, but there were other cars that were parked in that same lane. What happened? So that question should also be raised. But also the question about why is a minister responding to a parking fine? Well, Julius Adebayo wrote, Peter Obi's case ceased to be an ordinary parking enforcement matter the moment he publicly alleged that the federal government was trying to frustrate and intimidate him. Once such a serious allegation was made against government institutions, the ministry was duty-bound to establish the facts, releasing CCTV footage and explaining the sequence of events was aimed at addressing those allegations with evidence. The real question isn't why Keyamo responded. The question is, should the government have remained silent after being accused of political persecution? Public allegations deserve public clarification, backed by facts, but you wouldn't know that since you're, I mean, I guess they're responding to Peter Obi's support. And then finally, Ada Ogbu wrote on X, as a member of the team that accompanied His Excellency Peter Obi to the Abuja airport on Saturday, July 4th, I can state categorically that he does not have a police officer as his driver in Abuja. Therefore, if airport CCTV captured a police officer entering the driver's seat of a vehicle, that vehicle could not have been Mr. Peter Obi's. It is also important to note that Mr. Obi travels through as many as 10 Nigerian airports every week. Over time, there have been several acts of hostility directed at him and members of his team by airport personnel across different locations. Well, based on the account shared by the Honorable Minister, it is clear that the incident Mr. Obi referenced during his interview with Chude did not occur on the date or at the airport cited by the minister. There are plainly two different incidents. All right, I'd love everyone to comment on this story. I'll start with you, Ayo, and then Dr. Bati, I also like for you to comment on the legal aspects of these sort of allegations, and of course, Rufai. We'll start with you.
Let me try and keep it very short. So this is beyond, of course, since the person involved is a person of interest. And then the person of interest had made certain allegations during an interview which we spoke about last week. It's not just about him. It is the fact that when you're being picked on, even if you cough or you sneeze, there would be an offense that you could have committed based on that. The first commenter was well within their rights to say that if you look at the other cars, you know how the airports operate, there are big signs there, in fairness. No loitering, no parking, just so that they can ease traffic on that road. And we know how hungry they can be with regards to clamping your car and you paying the fine. Therefore, even if there might be arguments for, oh, other people are doing it, as long as you are guilty of it, it doesn't matter who else is doing it. You are guilty, you have to pay the fine. So that's on one hand. The other side of it then would be this talk of being targeted and being picked on. And Mr. Peter Obi is not the only opposition member that is saying the same thing. It can be said about other things said by other parties, saying that because I dared to stand for elections, and perception is key. If someone has made an allegation that because of his standing, everything he does is under extra scrutiny, he talked about even his business is being targeted, then it's important that it is not seen to be proven right that what he said was true. Because like he mentioned, even though he might have stayed or loitered against the set down law, there were other people who were doing it. Why was his own vehicle targeted? But beyond that, it doesn't justify that. Yes. And then finally on this point is that Mr. Festus Keyamo, I've seen other post saying that when other people of interest violated, the processes, some people had eyewitness reports of a video of a senator shouting at staff and almost holding a plane to ransom. Did you see any, quick response or CCTV by the Minister of Minister of Aviation releasing a CCTV about it?
No CCTV.
No,
we didn't see the CCTV.
He said it was going to be. There wasn't something to prove that he actually did it.
Okay.
This time we became an investigator.
We wanted a
investigator.
Footage,
when Kwamwam did his own thing, I'm not saying don't. What I'm just advocating against is double standards. If you're going to do it for one, ensure that you're doing it across board for all. We want things to work in Nigeria, and there's nobody that should be above the law. 100%. But if it's being done, there should be no double standards. 100%. It should be the same across board.
Dr. Bati.
Okay, first, the first principle is that nobody is above the laws of the land, whether it is Mr. X or Mr. Y. But in this particular case, the issue is that a car was left for over 30 minutes at a point where they said drop-off spot only. Was it Mr. Peter Obi driving the car? Was the car registered in his name? Was he in any way complicit in terms of the amount of time that car spent in that place? Because It could have been a hired vehicle. It could have been some commercial driver that took him to the airport. It may not be a vehicle registered in his name or that he drove himself. That's first point of clarification. The second thing is that Festus Keyamo, the Minister of Aviation Development, now says, yes, nobody is above the law, but to the extent that Mr. Peter Obi was involved, he's been given 1 week to go and pay the fine. Well, I'm sure that if the fine becomes an issue, 25,000 naira, they probably will get over 2.5 million because there will be too many persons, including present company, who will say, no, you can't embarrass Peter Obi. We will pay on his behalf.
There are 3 people here. You have to point it out. No, there are 3 people here. Which one?
Well,
I don't know if I'll pay any 25,000 naira.
I've just made my point.
No, I will not agree.
Now, the third point is
I can pay, no problem.
Mr. Peter Obi is saying that he's reacting because Mr. Keyamo, Festus Keyamo, that is reacting because he had alleged political persecution.
Yes.
So that's the context of it. Now, and I take note of that because last week, Mr. Peter Obi said he's receiving the kind of treatment, the kind of vibes, either with his business or with his other activities, that will give the impression that he may not be alive before the 2027 general election.
Yes.
And that's a very serious allegation that the state should take seriously. Because in this country, we have had cases of political persecution in different shapes. We have even had cases of unresolved assassination. It was in this country that Chief Bola Ahmed was killed. It was in this country that Chief Dikibo was killed. It was in this country that Funshaw Williams was killed. It was in this country that Suliat Adedeji was killed. So if you are a politically exposed person and you then say that you have fears and anxieties about the way, you know, the kind of reactions you are getting from the state, I think the state has an obligation to take it seriously.
Yes.
The state has an obligation to ensure the protection of Mr. Peter Obi, whatever the details may be, as well as other persons of political interest. Nobody should have any anxiety that he may die before the election. And that protection is very important. Because in other jurisdictions, when you are politically exposed, you are entitled to a certain level of protection.
Yes.
The father you want to be president, or you want to be governor, or you want to be even local government chairman, does not mean you should lose your life in the process.
And last week we did see a response from Bayo Ononuga, which we actually reacted to, and that was quite,
So I don't know, and I'd like to put it on a good question. As the Department of State Security officially giving Peter Obi security aid as we speak, because as a presidential candidate, state security is mandatory. It's entitled. So have they officially given him? Because if they're officially giving him, is the security aid by the state that should be handling all of this. But secondly, Oji, you will be a blind man to say there's no political persecution against Peter Obi. Festus Keyamo is my friend and brother, but this their reaction just confirmed it. Pure and simple. We were in this country when they were begging for Kwamwan. They went to stay in front of plane.
That was something.
If Obi stayed in front of plane like that, the country would have scattered. We're in this country now, where they were begging for Kwamwan, where they were saying that, please leave him, we know what he has done. So then the next thing, a video comes out. It was unnecessary. Like I said, it is not everything the government reacts. If Obi had even said that, I mean, they could have just kept quiet, and it's not everything. It was unnecessary. Secondly, Oji, we're in this country when my very good friend and brother, Governor Monday Okpebolo, said Peter Obi should not enter Edo States without getting security clearance from him. Oji, you know what happened that day? There were gunshots.
Yes, we took the story live.
And we're gunshots. So if you say that's not political persecution enough, We're here where people were saying that we want to debate you. Everything is this Obi. If this government feels that Obi is not peppering them in any way, that is a no contest and everything, if the man talk, don't respond. But as long as you keep responding, it means that is a very fundamental factor in all of this. The man has come out to say again that most of his friends don't even talk to him. He's been ostracized in parties and everything. I mean, you will be blind to see that these are not political parties. And quickly they remove CCTV. Oshomole, so they didn't remove CCTV. Oshomole was going and defending it.
Yes, I mean, thank you all for your submission, and this is a sort of conversation we need to have in the lead up to the 2027 elections. We don't want to hear that the opposition is unfairly targeted, and I believe that his, comments or his allegations should be investigated. There was another ex-user that I read saying that Peter Obi does not travel with police in Abuja. They should investigate that. Yeah. Was that the actual CCTV footage? And if it wasn't, what are the legal implications? And those are the questions on the table for the Honorable Minister of Aviation.